95% of buildings in Mariupol are destroyed by Russian occupants. There is no light, water, heating, communications or food. The enemy is trying to completely establish control over the city. The shelling does not stop even after agreements on humanitarian corridors. Civilians have been blockaded for a month and a half now. A week has also begun for the president to address the problems of this most hotspot on the map of Ukraine. On Monday, Volodymyr Zelensky called on partners to increase deliveries of heavy weapons, armored vehicles, artillery and aircraft needed to break Russia's blockade of Mariupol. The head of the state also asked for increased aid and sanctions pressure from the South Korean parliament.
It is necessary to limit Russia's exports of energy resources, especially oil. But it is also necessary that the world's companies stop sponsoring this barbaric state, which believes that has the right to destroy the lives of people, which believes that it has the right to sow poverty, lawlessness and death around the world.
On Tuesday, Volodymyr Zelensky signed a decree cancelling the spring draft scheduled for April-June 2022. Demobilization of those previously conscripted will also be postponed. On the same evening, the president announced news that instantly stirred up all of Ukraine. He wrote that the Security Service of Ukraine had detained Viktor Medvedchuk, a member of the Ukrainian parliament and Putin's close ally. He was detained in the Kyiv region when he was trying to escape.
I find his use of military camouflage particularly cynical. He tried to disguise himself like that. What a warrior, what a patriot. If Medvedchuk himself chooses a military uniform, he is subject to the laws of war. I'm offering Russia to swap this guy of yours for our guys in Russian captivity.
On Wednesday, Volodymyr Zelensky called on the European Union to find instruments of influence to bring deported Ukrainians home. Now, more than 500,000 Ukrainian citizens have already been forcibly displaced to remote regions of Russia. The president said this during an address to the Estonian parliament. He also met in the Ukrainian capital with the presidents of the Baltic states and Poland. They visited Bucha and Borodyanka in the Kyiv region, and after seeing the consequences of Russian army atrocities, called for increased sanctions pressure on the aggressor country.
Bombed out residential areas, destroyed houses. Not military buildings, barracks where the military lived, but ordinary houses where ordinary people lived, many of whom are now in my homeland, as they sought refuge. Now I saw with my own eyes these ruins. It's hard to believe it. This is not war, but terrorism. We visited Borodyanka. It was a place where we saw the dark side of human nature. Only zombies, not human beings, can commit such horrors and atrocities.
In addition, Volodymyr Zelensky had a telephone conversation with the US President Joe Biden. They agreed to tighten restrictions against Russia and also discussed an additional package of defense and possible microfinancial support for Ukraine. Washington promised to provide another $800 million in military aid. Western media also claim that the Ukrainian president has asked Biden administration to designate Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. Such a decision would automatically increase pressure on the Kremlin. Moscow's immediate goal is to encircle 44,000 Ukrainian troops in a full-scale battle for Donbas and take it under its control. Zelensky said this in an interview with the BBC, and he repeated his request for Western countries to help as quickly as possible with weapons to repel the attack.
They have been trying to help us and they have been helping us. However, we need it sooner and we need it more. Is there enough of everything? We don't think so. The priority word is sooner, the priority word is quickly, the priority word is now. Because we are fighting now, not tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. It will be, and it will prolong. And it depends how long it will be. It depends on this equipment, of this, of course, of everything. Yes, on all these weapons.
At the end of the week, Volodymyr Zelensky held a meeting with the heads of law enforcement agencies on the situation in Mariupol. According to him, the details cannot be public now, but the leadership of the country is doing everything possible to save our people. Also, the president of Ukraine met with architects and the authorities of the destroyed cities. They discussed the plan for the reconstruction of settlements and the problems of displaced people. Reported by Pavlo Shtelmoch, Natalia Volosina, UATV News.